Welcome to The Secrets of Success. By following the proven techniques of the guests who appear on this series, you'll learn that even successful people run into detours and failures, and how you can apply their success techniques to change your life.
You're now listening to the most unique show on radio, the show dedicated to making you a success. Do you want to calm your mind and your spirit? Today, Shai Tubali will give us some advice. Shai, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you. It's a great joy being here with you today.
Now, you've written the complete book of meditation. So we can ask you anything because this book is complete. It says so right in the title. So we're going to put you on the spot. I have a lot of good questions for you.
I'm in trouble.
No, you're not, because I read it and I really enjoyed it. And that's obviously where my questions are coming from. You start off by saying meditation shifts you to a perspective that changes everything, and it does so quickly. Can you give us an example, or what should we expect when you say it changes our perspective? How does it do that?
Well, I would start by saying that meditation stops time, stops the flow of time. This is how it changes dramatically our perception, because our perception, our experience is time-based. We have past, present, and future, and we are, almost neurotically moving along this line. So meditation, of course, it is more accurate to say that meditation reveals to you that in reality, there is no time. Time is just a fabrication of your thoughts, of your hopes, and of your regrets and longings, and so on and so on. So what meditation does is that in a second, in a split of second, their time stops and you are outside time, which means also outside the movement of the world. You have taken a vacation from the world and also from your familiar self.
I love that expression, a vacation from the world. I'm going to write it down because I think that would be a title of your next book or an article. And I think I think very seriously, that explains it very well. It really says it all, and I think we would all like that. We go on vacation, but what do? We sit on the beach with our cell phones. So to take a vacation from the world, I like it. Already we're on a good note together. Is meditation more important today? Now, I know it's been around for a very, very long time, but we hear so much from our guests today that people, of course, and we know this, we see it, they're relying on apps. They go to Google. They have their cell phone continually. If we talk to an office, we're really not talking to someone. We're dealing with artificial information or artificial intelligence. Does that make meditation even more important because of the strange world we're living in?
Oh, yes. Of course, meditation has always been a necessity, an essential component of may I say, human sanity? Perhaps we'll discuss this later. But when we consider the turbulent times we live in right now, the acceleration of the pace of our life, the fact that if the Buddha 2,500 years ago spoke of the world or life as permanent change, now I think we are hardly managing to keep up with this pace. Everything is so quick, everything is so demanding, our attention is so insanely scattered that unless we have this axis around which everything can revolve, I think we in a way we become unable to cope with this pace.
Now, of course, a lot of us have seen someone doing this either in a sitcom on TV or in a documentary, etc. So I think we have different conceptions of it because most of us, it's not part of our world. That's why we're coming to you today to learn about it. Right. Can you tell us some of the misconceptions that you come across about meditation?
Oh, there are plenty. Yes, I think that the first one is that meditation is just this posture, this holy posture of sitting with your eyes closed and with some kind of a long face and over seriousness and being in silence. Meditation can be so many things. It can include visualizations. It can include walking. It can include communing with nature. It can include dynamic practices, cathartic movements of your body. So meditation is a great diversity, and it, by the way, can also include prayer. So this is just one misconception. Shall we continue?
Whatever you see among most people, and again, I count myself as most people because I'm sure I have these, and just as you said, that's the way I see it. Someone sitting there, almost in a religious position, very serene.
Yes.
And kind of, and again, you described it well, kind of going off without time barriers and without restrictions. Mm-hmm. What would you say if someone is saying to you, what is the purpose of meditation? Why should I get involved with meditation? And I know you have a lot of those in your book.
Yes, that is correct. Actually, because the meditation market is flooded with old and new meditation techniques, the reason that I've created this book, or at least one of the reasons, is that I felt that we needed to somehow begin to divide the world of meditation into certain purposes, and to begin to be able to identify certain meditations with certain purposes. So now, meditation is actually an extremely flexible phenomena. This means that it can adjust to your purposes, the purposes that you seek. This means that meditation can be a form of therapeutic practice, a practice of relaxation, a practice that helps you to ease your existential tension. But meditation can also help you to experience intimacy with yourself. The great mystic Yogananda, the mystic of the 20th century, said meditation is like giving a hug to yourself.
Oh, I like that.
So this is, yes. I think he put this so nicely because it is such an intimate and an emotional gesture that suddenly you're starting to consider meditation as something so loving. So meditation can enhance our experience of self-love. Of course, aside from opening your heart and broadening your inner vision and other purposes, for the mystic, we always need to remember that meditation has been designed for mystical enlightenment, for self-transcendence. So that has been the initial purpose of meditation, coming into contact with the great existence.
I think we're seeing today that even athletes get involved in this, professional people, what we consider the very smart people, the Ivy League, doctors, philosophers, people who are authors, etc. How would you, if you were selling it and just out there trying to get people to sign up $10 to learn how to meditate or something like that, what benefits would the average person notice after doing meditation for maybe 2 to 4 weeks?
Oh, I would say establishing a foundation of silence inside yourself, a foundation on the basis of which you can actually live a saner, a calmer, and more joyful life. I think that if you have this silence, I always call it our complementary half, or our other half. You see, we have our frontal half, which is our world-facing half. This is the half that is engaged with the world. But when we only live with this half, we are basically trying to cope with challenges without having this kind of a foundation to lean on. So we draw great powers from this silence, from this stillness, from this invisible half of ourselves.
Shai, we want to find out more, but at this point in the show, I'd like to remind our listeners that you're listening to The Secrets of Success on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Bill Horan. Our guest today is Shai Tubali, Tubali. His book is The Complete Book of Meditation. And Shai, would you tell us, is there a website where we can learn more?
Yes, of course. It's Shai Tubali, Shaitubali.com. That's my official website.
Beautiful. And we'll ask you that again if some of our listeners did not have a chance to get it down. And also to our listeners, if you missed the first part of the show, you can go to nccradio.org. That's nccradio.org. Just look for Secrets of Success and the complete book of meditation with our guest, Shai Tubali. And you can pick up the tips and see if this is something that should be added to your life so that you can take a vacation from the world. You know I love that quote. Now I'm going to use it all the time. Shai, when I was looking at your book, I started thinking, I said, this seems like something we keep hearing. Businesses have bowling nights. They have basketball and baseball, softball leagues. They do all sorts of things to bring people together. This seems like something almost like a quiet room, and maybe they would call it that they should have, that people could go off into and just not to waste time, just spend maybe 5 minutes and not on a cell phone or anything. Is that coming up anywhere, or do businesses get involved in this in any way, or am I just on a crazy track?
Oh, plenty of businesses nowadays have adopted meditation as a daily practice with their employees. I think that even Google has this kind of daily practice with their employees. Well, meditation, if you want I don't want to sound materialistic because that's not my own interest in life, but meditation can help you act better, because your efficiency, your ability to respond rather than to react, your ability to be attentive to details, your concentration, all of these elements, even your memory, all of these elements have been researched, and it has been shown that meditation can do all that. And this is also my own experience.
You probably saw me writing it down. I loved what you said there. Respond, not react. Because so many of us, if someone cuts us off in the street, we're angry, we get excited, etc. But I would imagine if we do the meditation correctly, it gives us a little more of a perspective, as you said early in the show. And maybe we realize maybe that car is rushing to a hospital. Maybe they didn't see us. They probably, it wasn't their purpose to cut me off particularly. They don't even know me, but they're just going their way. And now I'm getting frustrated. And they don't care. They're already in the next town. So I think you make some great points there. And I like that. Respond, not react. So I've got notes all over this sheet because of you. Now, something I think we all fall into, and you say this helps avoid scatteredness. And I think today most of us we're doing a little bit of this. We get a telephone call, we take it, a text comes in. Next thing we know, someone's walking in our office, the mail comes in. We're all over the place. Can you talk about how we can kind of get a little more, and I'm using a different word, but if we avoid the scatteredness, we're a little more focused. Is that correct?
Yes. I would say that to a certain degree, nowadays we are everywhere and nowhere. You see, because we are not really present. We are just busy reacting to certain stimuli. We are reacting to what flows towards us. Now, what happens in meditation is that you're finally able to overcome those many thoughts and many emotions and many inner voices. You see, you finally become one. Because the thing is that what we regard as our hectic lifestyle is actually, I would say that technology only imitates the way our inner world works. Because our inner world is also like that, scattered in every direction. And it's as if our presence is shattered into many pieces, many voices, many thoughts running around within our mind. So when we are beginning to meditate, we are finding this center around which all thoughts, all emotions revolve.
Just personally, can I ask you, as an expert on this, how much time each day do you spend meditating, or is it something you do once a week or once a month?
Yes, I do meditate on a daily basis, but it is very important to understand. Sometimes we think that, first of all, that we should meditate every day, and second, that we should repeat the very same practice every day. And one of the, misconceptions that this book aims to dispel, to correct, is this thought that we have to commit ourselves to a particular practice. There are actually so many different meditative practices, and we can change our practice from time to time. We can experiment. We can try different types of meditations that are more suitable today and less suitable tomorrow.
Now, I took right off the heading, I think it was chapter 2, you start with a question. Is meditation a technique or a state? And why does that answer matter? So can you tell us?
Oh, that's a dramatically important question, because you see, we always think, first of all, that meditation is the techniques that you do, the techniques that you use. But meditation itself is not the technique, but the result or the state that is revealed as a result of the technique. So techniques are many, but the meditation state itself is just one. And the second thing to understand about meditation is that meditation is not a state that you achieve or produce, but something that you relax yourself into. Because this is the nature of your mind. This is already your original nature. So it's not something that you don't go somewhere, but you're actually just falling back into yourself.
If I went to a gym and worked with a professional, I'm sure after about a month I would be saying to them, first of all, my reactions would be my muscles are sore, but I am getting stronger and I feel more fit and maybe losing a little weight. What do people say to you after they've engaged in meditation for whatever you feel is an appropriate beginning time, a week, 10 days, or a month? Has something changed about their life? Do they just enjoy life more? Do they take more time out for the important things, their children, their family, etc.?
Oh, yes. I would say, first of all, they would feel that the fragrance of meditation begins to follow them while they're in action. And then they begin to experience that they are more accepting, that they are less reactive, that they are less shaken by events, by changes. They are actually able to contain certain events. And even when they receive a certain insult, they are able to observe their own reaction and to realize a sense of proportions, which means that the things are not that immense, are not that terrible or extreme, because they have this kind of silence that balances their vision of the world.
More accepting is a very interesting response, because that's the way I think I would consider it. That people are more, I'm going to use the expression, laid back, and rather than get excited because somebody roots for a different team than I do, or I had a bad day on the golf course or the tennis court, I'm more accepting of it. It's a part of my life. It's exercise. It's a sport. Next week I'll do better. Now I'll go on to something. Do you find that meditation is more helpful to certain people in certain professions, like maybe a minister, a fireman, a policeman, a doctor? No, I don't think there is a difference in that. It is meditation again is a certain foundation for life, foundation for action, and we all need this kind of foundation. You see, so I wouldn't say that someone would require it more than others. I didn't know if more of your clients come in and they say, like, a salesman is under pressure and is guided by the world, etc., and they have basically a scorecard. They have to make so many sales a month, and if that helped the salesperson or the doctor who might be she might be doing 4 or 5 operations a day, and that's a lot of strain, and I guess we need some quiet time to get together. That is an important point, but I would say that also a housewife
who seems to be, perhaps less stressed or less pressured by her environment or his environment, as someone who has a more easygoing life, we have a mind that has a tendency to produce suffering constantly, to produce thoughts and to produce stress regardless of the environment. So we need to understand that even if your life is completely easygoing, you can create your own hell by simply producing it through your mind.
Shai, once again, I want our audience to know, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Secrets of Success on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Bill Horan. Our guest today is Shai Tubali, Tubali. His book is The Complete Book of Meditation. And Shai, we're going to ask you the website where we can learn more.
Sure. It's Shai Tubali, Shaitubali.com.
Easy enough to remember, and if you didn't get it down this time, we'll give it to you one more time before the end of the show. And we want you to also know that if you want to re-listen to what Shai is saying, you can go to nccradio.org. Just look for Secrets of Success and The Complete Book of Meditation with our guest, Shai Tubali, Tubali. Now, Shai, if we really now want to get engaged in meditation, we like what we're hearing from you, etc., is there a time of day or a location that you would recommend? And let's consider all of us listeners to be beginners. Do we sit in the corner of our room after breakfast, before we go to bed, right when we get up in the morning, or how do we do this?
Well, I think it's extremely individual, and we need to keep it that way. Because when it is individual, we can reach this state that I call falling in love with meditation. Meditation is an intimate process that should be designed according to our passions and joys. You see, so we need to remember meditation is all about non-doing. It is the cessation of doing. So we shouldn't think of it as another duty. So if for instance, I always enjoy meditating at nighttime. This is just before I'm going to sleep. The whole world is gone. You see, there are no duties. I don't play a role in life. I can remove my social my self-image. I can be a nobody. I can immerse myself in space. So that's perfect for me. But someone else would joyfully wake up in the morning and immediately sit for meditation and feel how this becomes a solid ground on which he or she is able to begin the day. So this is how we should approach it. Also, in terms of location, the space that we create. Sometimes it is healthy to create a certain corner, even a small place that is just designated for meditation. There's nothing else going on there. So then when you sit there, your subconscious mind knows this is time to take that vacation from the world and from my familiar self.
When we're doing this, what are some of the mistakes you see? Again, the average person, if I was to try this today or tomorrow morning or the next night or afternoon, what would be some of the mistakes that the newbie, me, would be likely to make? Let's put it that way.
Well, the most common mistake would be wanting or expecting to have a wonderful meditation, a completely silent and undistracted state. You see, we expect to be in silence and to be in relaxation, but then we are attacked by our own thoughts. We begin to become distracted, and then we call it a bad meditation. Then shortly after, we say meditation is not for me. I just don't know how to relax. And we forget all about it. But the thing is that we need to embrace this so-called distraction, because this is a part of the process of meditation. meditation is not only about reaching that silent state, but it is a process of understanding yourself, of understanding how your mind works. So if I sit and my mind begins to chatter, then I can listen to it. I can begin to understand why and how it produces problems that don't really exist, for instance.
And how long, if we're setting this up, should we anticipate, again, starting out new? Do we start out with 2 minutes and like exercise work up to 3, 4, 5, 10, or 20? Or do we start and try to do 5 minutes for the first month? Or what's your recommendation?
Well, again, I don't think that we should be that mechanical. First of all, if we take a look at the great diversity of meditation techniques in the book or elsewhere, we realize that there are some techniques that can require 20 minutes of your time, some half an hour, some 1 hour. So we can choose those meditations that we feel that will be realistic for us to practice.
And you mentioned I'm sorry.
Yes.
No, you mentioned about keeping a diary, which I've never heard that before. I've heard it in different contexts. What would we put in the diary? What we're thinking about during meditation, or the benefits, or how our mind is thinking of the ocean or the forest or the sky? What do we put in there?
That's a wonderful point. You see, because meditation is all about becoming more conscious. We are usually in a state that we can call half asleep. So in meditation, when I journal, then what I do is that I document my meditative experiences, my difficulties, because I actually enter a certain relationship with meditation, you see? So this relationship, I want to make it more conscious, to become aware of the thoughts that trouble me, of my so-called distractions. This journaling helps me to deepen my practice because it makes it more conscious.
Shai, I want to thank you. And again, I want our audience to know our guest has been Shai Tubali, Tubali. His book is The Complete Book of Meditation. And the website, once again?
Shai Tubali, Shaitubali.com.
Shai, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much.
To our audience, we'd like to let you know that you've been listening to The Secrets of Success on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Bill Horan, asking you to please join us again next week at the same time when we will continue our journey to success.